Hello, this is Christoph, and in this demo I want to show you the Knative integration of the Camel JBang export functionality with the Kubernetes plugin. So as you might already know, we have this Kubernetes plugin in Camel JBang. I have installed this plugin already on my local machine. So now I can say Camel JBang Kubernetes and list the commands. And one of the commands in this plugin is the run command, which enables you to run your Camel source file easily on Kubernetes. It will generate an export, and this export contains a Kubernetes manifest that enables you to actually deploy the application to Kubernetes, and the export will also generate a proper container image. And the new thing that I want to show you is the Knative integration in this. So I have a local kind cluster running, so there should be no pods running, and there is a Knative broker already. So I created this default Knative broker, and in this example in here I'm using a timer source which periodically just prints the message hello from timer source and pushes these as events to the Knative broker. I'm transforming the data to HTTP application cloud events format. This is the default format of Knative. And then I say to Knative event and give a event type that I want to produce. And I'm referencing the Knative broker, which is named default. So the cool thing with the Kubernetes plugin is that I can just say camel Kubernetes run, use this Groovy file. I need to specify cluster type kind because I'm running this locally. And if I say this run, then the Kubernetes plugin will generate the export, which exports this to Quarkus application with Maven, and the project will generate the container image, and the actual Kubernetes deployment is done. And part of the deployment, or the part of the Kubernetes manifest, is the deployment itself. There's also a service, and this is new. If you use the Knative component, you will have a sync binding also generated. And this sync binding is there to actually connect the Knative broker to your application. It will inject a environment variable with the actual broker endpoint URL, and Camel is able to use this injected endpoint URL to actually connect to the Knative broker, which is named default. So we can have a short look into the generated Kubernetes manifest. So this is the manifest. We have a service generated, we have a deployment, and this deployment references the container image, and below we have this sync binding, and this is generated automatically from the Kubernetes plugin, and it uses the actual broker default reference, and gives the timer source deployment, and in this deployment we will have the endpoint injection enabled. So if I'm having a look at the running pods, we now have the timer source pods running. We can also have a look into the Kubernetes logs of the timer source. Let's see. Yeah, this is periodically sending this timer event, and for receiving the events I can just have this little log sync YAML. This time it's a YAML, not a Groovy file, but it's a simple camel route. It starts from Knative event. It wants to receive events of type org Apache Camel event messages, references the Knative default broker, and just logs everything using the log sync camellet. So again, I can just say camel Kubernetes run. This time I'm using this log sync YAML, and I want to actually wait for the logs. And this generates the export. It generates the Kubernetes manifest and performs the deployment. And now for this log sync, I'm also creating this trigger as part of the export, which then triggers the application for each event on the camel on the Knative broker, so that we can receive the timer events. So in shortly we should be receiving some events here. Hello from timer source. So let's also have a look into the trigger that has been generated. So part of the Kubernetes manifest, we have this trigger, and this trigger filters the events for the type that we have specified. And it, as a subscriber, it gives the log sync service that is also part of the deployment and part of the Kubernetes manifest. So this shows that it's really easy to produce and consume events on the Knative broker with the JBang plugin. You just have to use the Knative Camel component, and the Kubernetes plugin is able to auto-generate the sync bindings and the triggers. And this also works quite good with pipes. So let's have a look here. This is a pipe resource, and it uses the timer source camellet, and as a sync it references the broker, the Knative broker. And I can also simply say camel run, and this time I'm using the timer source pipe YAML. Don't want to wait for the logs, so let's remove this. And again, this uses the export functionality, generates the sync binding again, so that the broker URL is injected into the running application. And now if I just go back and see the logs for the log sync, then I should actually see both timers producing some events. So here's the timer source, and now I also receive the timer pipe events. So both timers are now producing events on the broker, and I'm able to receive these. And this concludes the demo. I hope you have seen that it's really easy to write some Groovy or YAML or whatnot files connecting to Knative, and with the Knative integration of the Kubernetes plugin, I'm really easily able to run this on Kubernetes. And if I have a look now, I'm having this pods running. Thanks for watching.